Alright, so just knocking up the final at the moment to this video, and what the video is basically about is yesterday afternoon Nick Johns sent me a message in our cycling group chat. There was a race on today, and sort of at the end of last year had done a Marconi race and said, well, that's it, I'm not racing anymore. I won't be doing it again until after the birth of my children, and probably a little while after that. So when this opportunity came up, I jumped. I don't know when the next chance I'm going to have to do something like this is going to be. Life with twins is going to be very difficult, and I think I'm going to be quite time poor. So I was really excited for the opportunity, and this is just a bit of a video about how it went. Anyway, hopefully you don't hate it. Okay, so let's use a warm-up lap to run you through the paces. This is the start line, and from the start line it sort of levels out, and our race started pretty relaxed here. No one was going too mental, and I think that's because they know what's coming up just over this rise. So I kind of ruined this in the warm-up lap a little bit because I do a bit of groundskeeping, but on the first warm-up lap that I did, I spotted a bit of bark right in the middle of this descent, and I didn't really want that there when I was doing the race, because I sort of had a feeling that someone was going to hit it and that they were going to slide out. So it's right there on the bend, so you'll see me yeet that off into the bushes because, you know, I'm a good citizen. So anyway, get rid of the bark, continue on the descent. This is a really fast part of the track, and this when I hit my max speed. I think you'll see why. So you come down this and you hit a left turn, and there were quite a few attacks on here which I was surprised about, because it was actually super easy to bring them back, because it levels out here and then you hit this sort of berg and then another descent, and then it just goes into an ascent, and unless you've really got the power to burn off the group, it's actually super easy to get back on the wheel. So yeah, I think a lot of the attacks there sort of just wasted energy. But that being said, I did follow a few of them and probably burn a few matches myself, which certainly didn't help later in the race. This is the point to attack, but what we were warned is to be careful coming out of that corner at the bottom of that hill, because people tend to pedal strike because they all attack at this spot. So it comes into a bit of a rise here, and you know, you're pushing out the power, and yeah, there were quite a few attacks in this section, which was something that you really had to watch out for. And if you're ever doing this track, definitely this is the area to watch for. Maybe a bit early, unless you've really got the legs to go, though. You kind of still got half the track to go, a lot of time for the group to get back, and not heaps of elevation. Al and I were talking, we kind of wish that the track had been flipped and that descent was actually the ascent, and that you could use that as a bit of an attack section. It is a tough one to get a good attack on to split the group, because there just isn't really a hard section. So anyway, as we're coming around this corner, you really need to watch out. There's a bump right here, which you might see on the video, and if you are trying to attack at that section, you hit that bump, you might lose your back wheel. So yeah, it's something that I didn't particularly like. It was obviously a true route. It got under the track and made it a bit sketchy when you were trying to put the hammer down. But this is a part of the track where you really think, you know what, this is a beautiful course. It is absolutely stunning. It is a really nice crit track right in the bush. You feel like you're really in Australiana here, and yeah, really enjoyed this section of the track. This is a spot that's really popular for attacks because it's a short hill, couple of bends where you can really put the watts into the corners and out of the corners and try and split the group up a little bit, and this is the point where you really want to hit it. So hit it on that hill, there's a few little rises coming in, and then you take a left and you're straight down the finish line. And this is where I ended up getting done in the end, because I'm not a sprinter, and yeah, unfortunately it did end up leading to a sprint that I'm not primed for. But at this point in the race, there's a guy doing a piss. I thought I might win, and this is the point where those dreams were actually shattered. So this is the final straight. It's a bit of a downhill sprint, which some people don't really like, but it does mean that you can pick up quite a bit of speed. We didn't have a huge field, so it didn't get too sketchy. And I mean, I wasn't contesting the sprint anyway, so it didn't particularly matter. But yeah, good speeds coming down here. The guy that did end up winning absolutely burned past me. And yeah, final straight into the end. So that's the track that we had to work with. how'd we end up? Pretty decent field. Racing was hard, but not crazy hard. In the last couple of laps, we came up the back of B grade, and that sort of neutralized the race for a bit, because B grade was about to come up to their penultimate lap. They were going to get the bell, and we didn't want to be amongst that field when they started trying to sprint for the win. That extended the race a couple of laps as well, which I think shocked a few people. But in the end, there were a guy from Manly, CC, jumped off the front following an attack, solo attack. I managed to jump on his wheel, and I thought, yep, that's the move. That's where you want to be. This was the start of the last lap. I feel like that was the move. It was a good one, but I followed him almost to the wheel of the solo guy, leading out, and felt like I was able to make the jump across to him, but I was about halfway between, lost in the middle, and some guy just barnstormed past with 500 meters to go, pushing out about 1500 watts, and I think my max sprint's 1300. So I ended up finishing mid-bunch, but I was within sniffing of the win, and yeah, look, happy with that for the last race before I'm a dad. So feeling very blessed, feeling very fortunate that I got to do this. Thank you, Waratah Masters Racing, for having us along, and yeah, we'll do again, don't know when. Have a great day.